When do you use high-speed sync?
When your shutter is faster than your flash, you need high-speed sync.
Okay guys, I promised in one of my prior videos that I would do a test of the new X1T-s trigger for the Sony mirrorless cameras. And it's been raining a lot here in DC, and so it's been hard to get out and really put this to the test. And we haven't had a really bright day to do this, but I'm going to try and do this really quickly before it starts to rain on me. I'm firing it with the XTR16 trigger. I'm using the old Flashpoint Streaklight 360. This is the version 1, and it doesn't have TTL, so we won't be able to see that functionality. But I'm able to get to fire high-speed sync with this new receiver as well. I've got the power set on 1/8. I don't know if you could see that. 1/8 is the minimum high-speed sync power for the Flashpoint Streaklight 360s. And I'm shooting this on the A6000. I saw a few questions on the internet about whether or not it works with the A6000, so we'll give it a spin. Okay, seems like the trigger fires really well. Based on what I can see from the back of the camera, the high-speed sync is working just fine. The trigger is firing perfectly, and I've actually been shooting around, mostly inside the house, testing it around, and I can report that this thing has not yet misfired on me. So let's go inside and we'll take a look at the pictures. Okay, I'm back inside where it's dry, and now I want to talk a little bit about the Godox X1T-s in a little bit more detail. I hope you can see this. This is the trigger system. You can see that this is the multi-interface foot that works with the Sony mirrorless camera systems. So today I'm going to show you how I pair that trigger with my Flashpoint Streaklight 360. This is the old version, not the new version, which has TTL. So I'm not able to test the TTL features. It's basically all manual shooting with this. To trigger this, I've replaced the old receiver, which is the 433 megahertz, with the new 2.4 gigahertz USB receiver, and so that just goes right onto here. Okay, we got it set. You can dial the channel settings to, I've got A through F and then 0 through 9, so plenty of channel options. Quite honestly, I've never used more than 3 channels. So I'm going to go ahead and power this flash on. And what you have to do is manually set this to high-speed sync. The trigger will not do that for you, so I'm going to press these 2 buttons, which puts the streaklight into high-speed sync. Now the streaklight is basically manufactured by the same manufacturer that does built the Godox, Wistro, the Cheetah CL360. There's a number of different brand names that this flash goes by, but essentially it's all the same technology. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on the A6000, and then it has a little spin lock here. Okay, the construction on this thing is actually quite good, very solid. I have another trigger that I used, which is the Pixel Opa, and I can tell you that trigger is not built nearly as well as this. I mean, this plastic feels just like my Canon flash system. Really solid plastic. Buttons are nice and solid. Switches are solid. So over here you've got the power button, which I just turn on, and then we've got this auto focus assist beam. I saw on the internet that other folks were having problems with this. I'm having problems with getting this to work. But quite honestly, with the Sony mirrorless cameras and the way we're able to shoot in low light, particularly with the A7R II and the A7S II, it's really a non-issue. I don't have any problems getting focus and firing in lower light situations. And once it gets to be really, really low light, I'm not generally shooting with a whole lot of flash. So in any case, so I've powered this on. Let me do it again here. I powered it on, okay, and it has a little light display in the back here. It's not super bright, but I suppose during low light conditions it'll really stand out. So I know it's really hard to see, but you've got A through E, and you use the wheel here to scroll up and down to access the different groups. So there's 5 groups, okay. There's a channel button. There's a group button, which basically activates the group. It's the group that's in the middle here. There's one at the top, in the middle, and at the bottom. And in the middle, there's a little marking to underline the group that it's on. And then to actually change the settings for that group, you would hit the group button, which is the GR button, and it'll flash. At that point, you can scroll up or down to change the power settings. I'm going to hit group again to get out of there. And then the mode button basically toggles through what I have right now is manual. That's the off. When you have these 2 double horizontal lines, that means it's off. And TTL. Again, of course, I don't have TTL on this flash, so that's not going to work for our demonstration today. I'm going to turn this back to manual. Now you could see that when I adjust the power setting, it goes by a 3rd increment, just like the old trigger that goes with the Flashpoint system. And I can scroll all the way down to 128th, and that'll work for when you're shooting regular mode on the flash, not in high-speed sync. As soon as you use high-speed sync, this flash, as you can see here, it actually will not let me dial it down below 1/8 power. You can dial up all the way to full power, but not below 1/8 power. So it's a limitation of the flash, not a limitation of the trigger itself. So while this may say 1/28 power, it's not going to work, and so I'm going to go ahead and bring it back up to 1/8 power. Okay, so let me go ahead and fire up the camera. This is currently set at 1/400th of a second. With the A6000, the sync speed is 1/60th of a second. I'm going to hit the test button to make sure that it talks to the flash. Everything's working just fine. And I'm going to go ahead and, okay, it fires. And then just for kicks, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the setting to the maximum on speed on the A6000, which is, I don't know if you can see this, it's 4,000th of a second. And let me see if it'll fire. It fires, and from what I can tell from my screen, it looks like it works just fine. I'm not going to show you these pictures because I'm actually not shooting anything. I'll post some other pictures that I've taken prior to this to demonstrate the high-speed sync, what the images look like. There is one setting that you need to make sure you set on your Sony mirrorless cameras, and that is you need to turn off the electronic shutter. What happens in high-speed sync is that you'll get some funny banding on the image, and this is a function of the electronic shutter, not the flash and not the trigger. I've used a different trigger on high-speed sync, and I got the same results. And so you have to turn that electronic shutter off to make this work, or you'll get that banding. And that's why when I shoot, you can hear that louder shutter. That's the mechanical shutter. And those of you who have shot on the A7R, you remember there's a big issue with the shutter being extra loud. It sounds like these giant scissors. When you shoot with the A7R2, having to turn off the electronic shutter, you get that same sound. It's probably not as loud as the A7R, but it's still quite loud. But you know, it's not a problem. It's not an issue. I'm not shooting with high-speed sync all the time, so it's not that big of a deal. And that's the X1T-s, despite the fact that I can't get this autofocus lamp to work. It's a great addition to my toolkit. It's convenient, and I'm looking forward to ordering some of the speed lights and hopefully being able to use my Flashpoint Rove light, which when Godox releases the X1RS, which is the receiver, I will be able to attach that to my strobes and use high-speed sync on that as well. And hopefully that'll come soon. I'm gonna go ahead and order the speed lights, and when they get here, I'll test them out and I'll show you how they work. Thanks, and hope to see you next time.